The Fiend's new face is Daniel Bryan? I'm Chopper Pete Quinnell, this is Dave Just Dave. Welcome to the WrestleTalk live review of SmackDown. Please give us a like and a subscribe and go to the very top of the description because you'll find a link to Beer 52 who are sponsoring this episode. We all love beer, don't we?
We do. It's a
Beer's
massively
fantastic.
Great thing.
It's great. And if you follow that description, you follow that link and you can get 10 free craft beers sent to your door. UK viewers only, unfortunately. But you only have to pay for shipping, which is only £4.95. It's less than a fiver, and you get 10 free beers. It's genuinely a no-brainer. Go and get your beers. Follow that link. Thanks, Beer52. You're awesome. We all like beer.
100% with you on that. 50p a beer.
50p a beer.
How can you say no?
Good maths. Did you know that 10 beers is 9 more than 1? It's great.
Quick maths.
Quick maths.
Everyday maths on the block. I don't know the rest of the words.
Another quick plug. You may have saw yesterday on WrestleTalk's YouTube channel, we put up a trailer for brand new merch. Yeah. WrestleTalkmerch.com. Go visit that right now. We've got a couple modeled here. They're great. Go check them out. They're really high quality. They're good for the environment. They're good. Go check it out.
They're very comfortable.
And also, if you've not seen the trailer, we put in a ton of time and effort, and it was really, really fun. So please go watch it. It's funny. We really, really want this to be a success. So please go check out the trailer. Go to WrestleTalkmerch.com and buy your brand new WrestleTalk merch today.
Yeah, there's two trailers. There's the trailer that's put out. There's an extended trailer as well.
Exactly, yeah. So the one on the YouTube channel is the extended one with all the added stunts and stuff. And then there was one at the end of the news yesterday, which is just like a kind of cut down one. So if you want to see the full one, including me getting camel clutched by Rampage Brown, Luke being thrown onto the floor by Adam Maxted, it's funny. Trust me, just go watch it.
Yeah.
One last thing before we actually get into the review, I promise we'll do it really soon, is that if you didn't check out the WrestleTalk community Q&A on Wednesday that I did, or if you didn't see the NXT and AEW reviews that we did on Thursday, then we've got a new super chat rule. We're trialing this for 2 weeks. We're just going to do a little trial just to see, but we're not going to be reading out any super chats on the stream at all. Now, this is done because we want to try and shorten the videos down back to kind of where they were, 45 minutes to an hour total, rather than the hour and 15, hour and a half that they have been. Like we said, if you really don't like the super chats not being them, please do let us know. We want to hear your feedback. And then after this 2-week trial, we're going to make a more permanent decision moving forwards afterwards. But there are going to be notifications on the screen as well. So your name will pop up if you do super chat. If it's at $10 or more, you get your message as well. Will show up on the stream too. But we won't actually be reading any out on the stream for this one. But it is just a trial. So if you really don't like it, then speak up, let us know, and we might bring them back. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, with all that said, let's get into our actual talking point, which is about The Fiend and Daniel Bryan from this week's episode of SmackDown. So this was a story that went through the whole show. There were 3 Firefly Funhouse segments. There were multiple backstage segments with Daniel Bryan, and it all culminated in a main event angle. So it started off with the first Firefly Funhouse segment, which was it started off with a video recap of Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan from Survivor Series, and then it came to the first Firefly Funhouse where Bray Wyatt was saying, hope you all joined Thanksgiving surrounded by your family and friends, which he got very sad about because I don't think he has any.
He choked up at that point. Obviously, he's only got Huskus and Ramblin' Rabbit, Abby and Mercy to really spend Thanksgiving with, which is a bit of a shame for him.
It is, totally.
Maybe he gets lonely in the funhouse. He's got his fireflies though.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hopefully he had a good time as well. I guess.
Yeah, totally.
He did say that he was thankful for his title though. At least he's got that to be thankful for. And then he said that sharing is caring. And he says that if he's got one, then he should have one too.
Which is very interesting, and I did not pick up on this at all when I actually first watched it. It was only when you pointed it out to me. There was some weird, cutting, normal glitchy stuff that the Fiend does. Fiend editing that happened. And then, I even wrote down, weird cuts with 2 faces on it. No idea what that means, but okay. It wasn't 2 faces. It was the Fiend holding up a custom Fiend championship belt.
Yeah.
Literally the entire front faceplate, where normally the WWE logo was just the Fiend's mask instead.
Yeah.
A black belt. Looked quite cool.
It's been sort of... It wasn't really particularly clear on the show. It's been officially sort of talked about now after the fact, so you can go and see the actual full thing. It's I've just written down, it is odd.
Yeah, it is. It is very odd. I don't know if it looks like a championship belt. It looks like a toy. And I know the championship belts look like toys anyway, but this looks more so like a toy. Because it doesn't really look like a title belt. It's like it's just got the Fiend's face on the center. And that's it.
I guess that sort of he's going with this kind of uncanny valley sort of, it looks the same shape as a belt, but it's not what you expect.
But it's not a belt,
which is not really what you know. He does a lot of things you wouldn't expect from a title holder himself. So I can see where they're going with this. It's not meant. We're so used to seeing like the WWE logo on everything, and in his sort of version of this belt, we're not supposed to see that.
Yeah,
you know, it's supposed to be him. It's supposed to be Fiend. It's supposed to make us uncomfortable.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
And it does.
It does. Yeah. In fairness, we get a backstage segment later on with Daniel Bryan just pacing, just thinking about things. He in that Firefly Funhouse segment, Bray Wyatt challenged Daniel Bryan again to another Universal Championship match.
Yes,
saying, "Come play with me again," because it was so much fun the first time. Daniel Bryan's pacing, thinking about it. Bryan's backstage later on again in the show. Kayla Braxton comes up to him, says if he's ready to answer Wyatt's challenge, but then he gets interrupted by another Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah. This was, I would say, was this the longest one? It was certainly felt like a main one.
For sure, yeah. There was Huskers the Pig Boy saying he's eaten too much Thanksgiving food. And then, but he says the only thing that's going to make him feel better is if Daniel Bryan plays with him again.
Yeah.
Aww.
I know,
and the kids in the background. It was great.
And then Bray... This was a weird segment in that it had like quite a lot of comedy going on, almost more so than usual, but underlined with this even almost more threat than usual. Because Bray, he says, firstly, I'll tell you the true story of the first Thanksgiving. It wasn't the Pilgrims or anyone like that.
The Pilgrims and the Natives?
No, it was the Muscle Men versus the Reptilians.
Yes.
Right before they tried to overthrow humanity. I don't know where this has come from. We suddenly have a little bit of a Illuminati vibe going on.
Yeah, totally.
Which is odd. And then, as we sort of mentioned the Muscle Men for the first time in a little while, we had more Muscle Man dance stuff, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We had a remix of the Muscle Man dance song as he came out. It was much more rappy, this one.
Yeah.
Kind of came in with a lot of yo, yo, yo's, etc. I don't know how to...
Yeah.
I don't rap. But and it was a remix of the Muscle Man dance, still very much kind of the same thing, just saying, you know, I told you to, you know, pull up your pants and do the Muscle Man dance, and then it kind of cuts with, like, let me in, like, properly.
Yeah.
You know,
it was
intimidating imagery.
Yeah, there was sort of more overt, weirdly, like, satanical transitions. You had the goat head in the pentagram thing, mixed with it being a little more street was an odd, weird meshing of things.
Yes.
Again, it was uncomfortable.
Yes, very much
which
so.
Which is cool. And at one point, he sort of changed clothes. It sort of did the changing clothes. He's wearing this bright orange vest. He's got, like, American flag pants on. And then at one point, it changed, and the picture isn't him anymore on the front. It's the Fiend, and it's red and black.
Yes.
Like his colours. At which point he says, erase your mind and do the Muscle Man dance.
Yep.
And there were all these different backdrops on the screens. And I could see it was words. Lots of them there were pictures with lots of words. And I spent ages pausing and slowing down the video and looking into what these words were saying.
Yeah.
So the backdrops, there was one where it just said, they are waiting. And what got me to really start looking into this is as it said, they are waiting, in the side of the screen was this red robed and hooded figure who sort of turned to the screen. And because he'd said earlier he's going to introduce a new face, I thought, maybe that's it. You know, the big Twitter chat has been Liv Morgan.
Yeah, which I never really bought into. But
not sure about him really allying himself with anybody.
No, that'd be weird.
But yeah, he had this weird figure, and they are waiting. There was a backdrop that said, open the doors and seal the sheeple. That was one. Yeah, there was
an awful lot of insanity.
Yeah, there was one that just had two words repeated over and over again, which is conform, consume.
I saw the conform.
Which
that
is
much
when,
I did.
That was when he was saying to her, let him in, but don't let the reptilians in or the triangle folk.
Yeah.
They'll take over your family and your business.
He's insane.
Yeah, and then there was...
in the best way.
There was one that... I had to look into this. I believe it's Revelation 6:8, which is, behold a pale horse.
Okay.
That was just repeated over and over again in the background. There was one which said, truth is the opiate of the masses. Kind of playing off a weird Marxist vibe.
Yeah, totally.
At the same time as he's sitting there going, stop it, reptilian, stop it, which is...
Yeah.
It was odd.
Very odd.
It was uncomfortable. It
Yes.
was uncanny. I really liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I would say it's not as good as the first Muscle Man dance. However, I think this one served a very different purpose.
Yes.
I think the first I keep saying Muscleman dance.
Muscleman.
The first Muscle Man dance was there as a little bit more of a tease of there's something darker underneath this, because
Yes.
that was kind of early days of the Fiend, and that was him being, I'm all happy-go-lucky, I'm amazing, and also erase your mind came in there, and it was really cool. We were like, oh, that's a really weird line. Whereas this one, we already know he's insane.
Yeah.
So having it much more overtly, this is really uncomfortable, like shoved down your throat constantly.
The focus has shifted.
It was good. Yeah, totally. Which was a nice change. After that happened, Kayla Braxton there just goes, well, and then Bryan doesn't answer. The
got
camera
nothing.
just zooms in on his face as he just doesn't answer.
Yeah. I mean, what do you say to that?
Yeah,
Nothing.
Literally, you could just go, and that's about it. We got another backstage segment later on as well, which was Daniel Bryan. Miz comes in. I'm really liking Miz's contribution to this feud as well.
It's
I think
really,
it's
really good.
Really nice.
It's really well thought out, and it lends itself really well to the gravity of the situation when, well, as we've mentioned in past videos, the whole dynamic between The Miz and Daniel Bryan is fantastic because they're still building on stuff from years and years ago, and they continued it here, but again, it plays to the gravity that Miz is kind of, okay, I'm worried about you now.
Exactly.
Like, he opens it up, he says, I'm not your friend.
Not your friend.
I'm certainly not your mentor.
Yeah.
Playing back to NXT.
NXT. He was the mentor.
And he says, like, you don't have to listen to me, but listen to the facts. And he talks about how the matches with The Fiend changes people for the worse.
Yes. So there was a common, actually, conspiracy theory going around that after the matches with Bray Wyatt is when people change their characters. Finn Balor turned heel, went back to NXT. Seth Rollins has just turned heel on Raw. And then he's saying, and you're going to get changed if you face Bray Wyatt again. Because they've changed for the worse is what he was saying. He didn't actually say they turned heel, but that kind of actually, I don't think that's what they intended when they first did the match against the Fiend. And we're going to turn these people heel, so we'll put them against the Fiend. But I think it's a very nice coincidence and something that's really nicely played off when Miz mentions it here, and he's saying, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but don't you know how important you are for the SmackDown locker room? Yeah. And he starts saying, we can't lose you. Your family can't use you. And it's as soon as he mentions his family, that's when Daniel Bryan kind of snaps and looks and gives him a death stare. Yeah. And Miz just like...
He just like,
whoa.
Okay. He just goes, okay.
Okay. And he walks off. I thought this was a brilliant promo. This was really, really well done.
Really fantastic promo with some fantastic people. And this whole conspiracy theory is really interesting. Because on the one hand, on SmackDown, you've got this whole thing going on with Reigns and Corbin, where Corbin's like, you've lost control of the locker room. They don't trust you anymore. They don't, they don't respect you. And Reigns is like, yeah, and you think they respect you? Like, no one likes you.
You're not a king.
And they're sort of feuding over who has control of the locker room. And if this conspiracy is to be believed...
Is that what the feud's over?
I have no idea, really. But that's part of it, where they're saying, like, who's the big cheese... or dog, or whatever.
King
in the locker room. But at the same time, this conspiracy thinking that Bray is turning half the locker room heel.
Yeah, essentially,
in the background.
It's great, yeah.
It's cool. It's a really nice, interesting
It's a
angle.
nice dynamic. And like I said, I don't think that's what they intended initially with the matches, but it's nice that they've acknowledged it and they're building a story off of it. I think it's really, really nice. Yeah. But this all culminated in the main event angle, which is when Daniel Bryan came out to the ring to finally give an answer to Bray Wyatt's Universal Championship challenge. Yeah. And he fully turned face here. He brought back the yes chant. He led people in the yes chant to say yes to Bray Wyatt's challenge. Yeah. And he was saying, when he was facing Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series, he felt changed. There was a part in the match when he felt the change, but it wasn't the Fiend that was doing it. It was the crowd. And he said, you know what? I've said several times that the yes movement's dead, but maybe you guys have brought it back. And then he says, so there's only one thing left to say. Bray Wyatt's challenged me to a Universal Championship match. What do I say? Yes, yes, yes. Leads the crowd into a yes chant. And it's like full on underdog babyface Bryan has returned here.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is really cool.
He's talking about how originally he was talking about his passion and his energy at a time when we were still sort of wondering who is he. He's still wondering who is he. Now he's talking about how it's the passion and energy of the crowd made him, quote, realize the person he should have been this whole time.
Yes.
Which is an interesting sort of movement of the arc from this person who is a hero to many but didn't know who he was. and has realized that he is their hero and he can properly go face turn. And the yes movement is coming back. The chant is going. He says it's not the same if he doesn't take part. He's taking part in the yes chant. Firefly Funhouse.
Yes, we get another Firefly Funhouse.
Fourth of the night.
Third of the night, I believe.
Third of the night?
Third of the night.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no. Fourth part of the segment, third Firefly Funhouse of the night.
Correct, yes. So then, after, the yes chants are in full flow, Firefly Funhouse music hits, and Wyatt pops up on the Titantron and he says, The Miz isn't wrong. He will change Bryan when he faces him again. And he said, because, Bryan, you helped me build this place. Do you remember? Because he does, playing off that line again that he said before Survivor Series. Because, of course, they have history in the Wyatt family, which is, again, really nice character consistency.
Yep.
Love it. And then he said, well, you know what? I almost forgot. I promised my Fireflies a new face, and I am many things. And one of them is a man of my word. And as soon as he says that, the lights,
Lights
they
go
all
down.
go cut down. Yep. Then Wyatt pops up from underneath the ring, comes through a hole in the ring, as he's one to do now, gets the mandible claw in on Daniel Bryan, drags him down into the hole, and then you see him, he's kind of still like half, the top third of him is still out of the ring.
Yeah.
The rest of him is under the ring. And you can see him like pulling something, which looked a bit weird.
Yeah, it looked a bit sus at first.
A bit suspicious at first. But then he kind of just pops up out from the ring, and he's got handfuls of hair in his hands, and he kind of drops them on the ring, and he starts laughing, and then he goes back down again. He starts pulling again and yanking stuff, and then he comes back up with more handfuls of hair. And I was like, he's ripping Daniel Bryan's hair out. Obviously, he's not actually ripping Daniel Bryan's hair out, but that's really cool. I really like it.
He goes back a third time to do it as well.
Yeah.
It was a new take on, I think, in deliberate misleading. Has been done very, very well here. This whole thing about him introducing a new face. And, of course, immediately everyone's instant reaction is going to be a new person.
Yes.
There's going to be someone with him. Not what he meant at all, as it turns out. Very nicely done. Interesting. Nice that he's talking about introducing a new face, and his version is to tear the hair out of someone who's newly turned face.
Exactly.
Very nice touch.
Absolutely love that little touch. And I think this would be a great way. If we see, full shaved head Daniel Bryan again, that would again be a nice way. Now, this is getting real niche here. But this is a reference that I don't even know if he intended to make. But when he was doing all his Firefly Funhouse stuff, talking about the lizard people and the reptilians and all that stuff, and then he goes and takes Daniel Bryan back to his bold roots that he used to have when he was the American Dragon in Ring of Honor. That's a level I don't know if they meant to do. But if he meant that, and he starts throwing in reptile references, and then takes Daniel Bryan back to looking like he used to be when he was the American Dragon as Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor.
Oh, that's good.
That would be awesome. And that's a level I think I've read into that they haven't. But you know what? I don't care. It's great.
I'd love it if they have read that far into it. The whole lizard person thing kind of came out of nowhere.
Totally, yeah.
So if this is the reasoning, and if you've got Bray Wyatt working with Daniel Bryan, I could see those two minds coming together, backstage thinking, okay, what can we really do here? How can we absolutely kill this angle?
Exactly, yeah. So that's something that you don't have to mention on TV.
No.
All you have to do is throw in some reptile references and kind of direct them at Bryan. And some people, like me, will put 2 and 2 together and, make a whole new level of this feud that might not have even really existed in the first place. I think it was really well done.
Very well done.
Bray Wyatt's new face that he's been teasing is Daniel Bryan. And I really, really liked this whole story throughout the whole show. I think it culminated really perfectly. I'm really excited to see where Daniel Bryan goes from here, whether he's going to be just completely, shaved head, whether he's going to come out with just chunks of his hair missing, I don't know, next week. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know how Bryan's going to react to it. Yeah. I don't know if how Bray Wyatt is going to react to it more. I'm just really more excited for this feud now, and I think that's the whole point of this angle. Yeah, it's become such a massive just surge of excitement towards it. Like you say, what's Daniel Bryan going to look like? How are they going to react? Bray Wyatt is already tweeting out about this, saying what do you think he's going to look like? Which is really cool. Again, is he going to come out straight up bald? Is the beard going to be there? Is it going to be gone? Yeah. And it adds this whole new thing. Well, it's not even so much of a new thing, but it's this whole new way of Bray manipulating Daniel Bryan. Because the first time, which is what they've been harking back to, was his whole thing of trying to get him to join the family. Yes. Join the family. Yeah. And again, possibly with that, is that playing into the whole Miz talking about family? Maybe.
to Daniel Bryan. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's another nice touch. But this one, he's still manipulating Daniel Bryan, but in a completely reversed way. He's not trying to get him to join him. Much the opposite. He's getting him to try and fight him.
Yeah.
And it's working.
It's really, really well done. But before we get into the rest of the show, first we have to say another thank you to Beer 52.
Yes, 100%.
So if you would like to open this, we're going to sample this Market Porter right now.
We have a lovely bottle opener
We've got
here.
a bottle opener. If you open that, I'm going to read what it's about. So if you go down into the description below, follow the link to Beer 52, and you can get 10 free craft beers if you follow that link. All you have to do is pay for postage, pay for shipping if you're in the UK, and that is only £4.95. So you've got here Market Porter from Derbyshire, from Thornbridge.
Creamy porter.
Indeed. Named after the Thornbridge pub in York, the Market Cat. This is a smooth, robust, creamy porter with a hint of coffee to finish. Made with 6 different malts for a complex but approachable taste. A lower ABV to be enjoyed outside with the barbecue.
How much of that did you actually understand?
I mean, I read words.
I recognise their English. It's, I mean...
Give it a taste. What do you reckon? This is quality audio content.
Bit of ASMR.
Can I have a taste? I want to go.
Go for it.
Thanks. All right. Hey, that's pretty good.
It is.
I like it.
It is.
What's up? If you feel like you got someone else that you're contemplating how to properly deliver this.
Yeah, I mean, I am getting coffee.
Oh, totally. Yeah, me too.
I'm not getting chocolate so much. I am getting the coffee that they mentioned, which is cool.
There's a little bit of chocolate mentioned on the back here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Expect coffee and chocolate character. Which, yeah, I mean, I can taste that.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
I could get behind that. That's pretty
Totally.
nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
So go follow that link below.
Definitely.
Beer 52. Get your 10 free beers, and you'll get them sent out to you if you live in the UK. All you have to do is pay for postage, which is £4.95.
Lovely.
So let's get into the main show now. So the show opened up with Roman Reigns. He came out and he cut a promo about Thanksgiving, saying that he was thankful for, his health and happiness. And what was the other one? Health, happiness, and family.
Yeah.
Those are 3 he was thankful for. And I was like, that's lovely. And he said, last year was tough. He said last year only had one of those things.
Yeah.
So he wasn't healthy, nor was he happy.
Yeah. Obviously had family around, but yeah, obviously not a great year. He reflected on a very tough year last year,
which was nice. It was a nice little oh yeah, you did go through that.
Yeah.
I still like you, Roman.
Yeah.
And then he was saying, he kind of transitioned that to saying, Team SmackDown got the job done at Survivor Series. And I was like, all right, let's just ignore every other match on the card then. Sounds good.
Yeah. The NXT chants were flowing, and he did react quite well to that. It was like, hey, he said it's all WWE. NXT, they're badass too, but they didn't get the job done.
I mean, they did.
They very
overall
much did. They won,
but
fairly convincingly.
Yeah.
In terms of scoreline.
I did find that very strange when the NXT chance came up and then he goes, hey, it's all WWE. It's like, what's the point of the entire Survivor Series then? You've just undermined the entire point of brand supremacy, you moron. Bit. But still, it was fine. But then he transitioned to say that and he said, big thanks to Ali and to Shorty G and Braun Strowman, but there was one dummy on the team.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here we go. And he says he's going to make the dummy apologize.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to thank a dummy. The dummy should be thanking me. Let's make the dummy apologize. Thanks and apologies are different things, but sure.
Sure, let's do that anyway.
And he invites Corbin out.
Yeah.
And Corbin, of course, comes out not on his little chair anymore.
No.
He's just walking like some kind of common plebeian.
I know.
And he says it was his fearless leadership that won for SmackDown, saying that he eliminated 2 people before Reigns speared him.
Yeah,
which is true.
I mean, true.
Roman got rid of 4 people, I think. But he eliminated 2 people, and Reigns challenges him to get the job done tonight instead.
And he was saying you definitely didn't get the job done because I speared you. I was like, well, I mean, that's kind of a heel thing to say, Reigns. Yeah, but bit. We'll gloss over that. He says, you got another chance. You can get the job done tonight. Corbin says Reigns is an egomaniac. And he says that, and then he transitions to just says that his Thanksgiving was great and he has servants to pick up his forks. I'm like, what is this promo? You're going all over the shop.
It was
very strange.
It was going all over the place. He said that, he had wonderful food and Roman Reigns is used to eating dog food. Which,
okay.
We're back there again.
So I think Corbin's character is very good when He thinks that he's a king because he has power. He thinks that he's a king because he's better than the rest of the locker room. He thinks that he's a king because he gets to abuse his authority.
I can see where you're going with this.
He's not an actual king.
There it is.
He doesn't have servants. Nor is he delusional to think that he actually has servants that pick up forks for him when he drops them. That was just like, that was a moment when I was like, I am way out of this promo now. It's such a strange line. And then him saying like, oh, you're so used to eating dog food. It's like, he's not an actual dog, Corbin. Like, there was a couple lines where I'm like, you've got mixed up between what you think your character's supposed to be and what your character actually is.
Yeah.
It just got really... The wires were really crossed on this one.
Yeah, we got sort of lost in this strange drama of... Does he actually think he's a king?
Yeah.
Does he actually think Roman Reigns is a dog?
Yeah.
And... Yeah, trying to rescue it with a classic heel turn of turning on the crowd, saying he's thankful that he doesn't live in this part of the godforsaken country where the food is worse than the football. And
local sports team reference.
Always a good one to go for.
Yep.
And then the upshot of the entire thing is he says, well, actually, you're going to fight Robert Roode.
Okay.
Sure.
I let you wrote. Corbin rants on a bit more and then says he should fight Roode instead. K. That was my... It was a long, rambly promo that didn't really get anywhere. Didn't put anything over, didn't further the story, and then said, okay, you should fight Roode.
Yeah.
I just think it's so backwards. I don't know why they're doing the... Because the story should be that Reigns, like, wants to get his hands on Corbin or something, and he has to fight his way through Roode and Ziggler, and then he makes it to Corbin. But he's already kind of speared Corbin. They've already been feuding for ages, and now he's gone back to fighting Roode now, before he's probably going to fight Ziggler, and then probably Corbin. It's like they've just gone to the story and go, right, we'll reset to 0, and no one will notice. But we have.
Yeah.
Which is an unfortunate way to actually get into a pretty decent match.
It was an okay match.
This was a fun match. And it wasn't very good to start with. It was just a normal Reigns beatdown, Roode being quite slow and methodical, which isn't very fun to watch. However, one thing that, as much as people like to rag on Roman Reigns, there is one thing he's incredible at, and that is a near fall. Good God, Roman Reigns is so good at near falls.
Yeah,
he's so good at going 1, 2, and right at the last second, he'll just throw his shoulder up. He is incredible at that. There was a couple of near falls in this match where I didn't really buy that Roode was winning, but there was a couple of moments where I was like, Roode's winning.
Yeah, well, it suddenly could have gone that way, you know.
Exactly.
That was combined with usually Ziggler having I don't know how many interruptions did he have in this? It's about 17.
Oh, loads.
17 distractions at least.
So many
from Ziggler. But yeah, I mean, Roman was firing back, looking strong. There was a nice massive sort of moment a bit later on where he was just ruining Roode quite a bit. I mean, and it continued to the end, but we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, he had a nice little stare down with Corbin, which was to be expected. And yeah, Roode did get some really nice moments in. There was a really nice segment where Roode had his glorious DDT countered into the pin, and then Roman lifted him out of the pin, which was I never quite understand why they do that unless like you're Braun and you're like, I want to just fight more.
It makes sense if they kick out before you pick them up. So they're in the roll up and they go, and they manage to get one shoulder up, and then you go, all right, fine, and then you lift them up and then
But lifting him out of the pin. It looks good because he lifted him out of the pin for a really nice sit-out powerbomb, which is always fun to see, which Roode kicked out of, looking good. Yeah, I'll never quite understand why people do that unless, like I say, I think Braun used to do it when he was like, he was like covering them and was like, no, I'm going to just beat him down some more, which isn't Roman style.
That's a Braun thing. There was a Superman punch out of midair to Roode, which was fun for a near fall. There was he went for a spear, which got counted into a spine buster, which was a very close near fall. That was one where it's only a bloody spine buster. But even then, I was like, whoa, that was a close near fall. And then Corbin gives Roode the scepter, which he's trying to use to hit Roman. Corbin provides a distraction, but Reigns just hits a spear, gets the win over Roode, which is, you know, to be expected. But then after the bell, Ziggler and Roode start to beat down afterwards. He fights off Ziggler, so it's just Roode. And then Roode tries to murder him. I guess.
It kind of almost looks like he's actually trying to execute him.
Totally. Because he gets a chair, sets it up in the ring, so it's sitting there, puts Reigns' head on the chair, and then grabs a scepter and looks like he's literally going to, like, smash it on the back of his head. Which would kill a man.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Yeah, or cause at least significant damage.
Significant damage, yeah. But then Reigns gets out of the way, and he leaves a dent in the chair instead.
Yeah.
He hits a Superman punch, takes him onto the outside, spears him through the barricade, which is always a nice spot to see. And then he goes a bit nuts, and he starts just throwing chairs on him. And then he grabs the commentary table, and then he pushes that up, and then he throws that on him as well.
Yeah, and Dolph tries to get involved, at which point I've written that he absolutely Keith Lee's Ziggler into the crowd. Using the stairs.
I forgot he did that. He got the stairs and just went, skadoosh. And then he went flying. It was great.
Yeah, he went flying. Obviously, Ziggler sold it like he'd just been shot.
Yeah. And of course, the commentary table are like, he's picking up the commentary table. That weighs 17 tons, or, however much they say it weighs. It's not that heavy.
They say it weighs a massive amount, and you think, that's really impressive, and then you look underneath it, and there's nothing there.
There's nothing. There's just nothing.
It's hollow.
But regardless, it was a cool beatdown. I think when Roode was about to, kill him, he was saying, like, think of your family or whatever, which is probably going to lead to Corbin, Roode, and Ziggler versus Roman Reigns and the Usos.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
comeback for the Usos.
There's been a couple of mentions of family in this feud. Obviously, it was a Thanksgiving promo, so he mentioned family, but then Corbin mentioned family against him there. Roode mentioned family when he was beating him down, so maybe a return for the Usos to have a six-man feud. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I did quite like how the sort of the post-ad wrap-up of the match was done with Cole and Graves just sort of really sheepish standing there. It's like, well, we don't have a desk anymore.
Yeah.
They were just
That's
standing.
Always fun. So that opening segment took up the first 40 minutes of the show.
Jesus.
In a 2-hour show, you've got an hour and 20 minutes left, and you've done one segment. That's insane to me. We then get the first of the Firefly Funhouse segments before it leads into a backstage promo. There's a corridor. There's a man in a shadow.
Well, I was a bit annoyed at first because Mustafa Ali had just had his entrance.
Yeah.
And then immediately there was a video package. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But why are you doing this? We've spoken about this at length before about weird sort of cutting together a bit. And I was like, oh, there's a video package and, oh, hang on a minute.
I recognise that voice. Who's that man talking? It was only bloody Sheamus.
Yep, Sheamus is back.
Yeah, which is great. I didn't even think he'd be good to wrestle, like, ever. And yet, here he is, doing a backstage promo. It was really well shot. It was just this like hallway, essentially. And he was in complete shadow, so you could just see the silhouette of him there. And he was saying about the lay of the land of SmackDown. It's pathetic. Yeah. And he said, we've got a Fiend, a King, a Shorty G, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
It's a great line. Loved it.
Yeah, he said it was just the current state of SmackDown was pathetic. It's full of misfits and cowards. There's no one with a backbone and no one like me.
No one like me. And as he said that, he stepped forwards and then he's bathed in light and you can see Sheamus. He's not got the mohawk anymore. Yep. He's not got the braided beard. He's kind of back to spiky hair and he's back to a bit of a, just a tash, essentially.
And SmackDown will be his, it would seem.
I'm into it.
Yep, I'm well into it. I
like it.
Quite like his like no one with a backbone. I'm like, how's your backbone up towards the top doing Sheamus?
Very good.
But yeah, this was a really, really nice little promo there.
Solid. Good work. I like it.
Yeah, the whole thing of SmackDown, there's so much going on with SmackDown that is now getting people really excited. Obviously, quite aside from the whole main story that we talked about with Daniel, Bryan, and Fiend, this is fantastic.
Yeah, totally.
Really exciting stuff.
This led it into a very, very quick match between Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali just kind of won. He hit a super kick tornado DDT 450 for the win.
Yeah.
Whatever.
A good match. We've seen Ali versus Gulak before on 205 Live.
Yeah.
And that was really good. Those two are so good together in the ring. The cynical part of me wants to say, like, oh, they messed up the booking with Ali taking the pin in his hometown in the 3-on-3 tag match. Let's give him a nice thing now in a really quick match that's kind of throwaway. I don't want them to do that with those two together because they're really good together in the ring. Yeah. They work so well. Give them something.
Yeah,
Make this a thing. Sure, why not?
We then get Bayley and Sasha Banks walking backstage. They're coming up next. We get Heavy Machinery doing a merch ad, which
really
was
like this.
Heavy Machinery.
Love it.
Daniel Bryan's backstage pacing, and then I wrote, "Oh, that's the segment." Okay,
Yeah,
because I thought it was another whole backstage promo, but it was just him pacing. We then get the video recap of the Women's Survivor Series match and the Women's Main Event, and then Sasha and Bayley come out, and Michael Cole was now changed from "It's boss time" to "Well, it's boss time here on SmackDown and coming up next week." No, you can't just make that just a normal phrase, Michael Cole.
Yeah.
You're terrible. Sasha Banks says we didn't come out here for some rah-rah speech again. And dig at Dave Meltzer once again. Says we'll leave that to Monday Night Raw. Bayley says she didn't lose because Baszler's better than her. I mean, you did, but okay. Sasha then runs down the whole women's SmackDown team, saying that they all suck. And in response to this, Lacey Evans comes out, which was a surprise.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, Lacey Evans comes out to answer, uh-oh, is she a face now? Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She came out, and I said, oh God, Lacey Evans chants, what timeline are we on?
Yeah, I mean, of all the things I could have expected in this episode of SmackDown, that was not one of them.
No, absolutely not.
Genuine, honest-to-God Lacey Evans chance.
I know, yeah, it's crazy.
It was unexpected.
She came out saying, you know, basically she didn't really change anything. She was just saying the SmackDown Women's Championship needs a bit of class. I'm a classy lady, whatever. I've just finished creating a Thanksgiving dinner for 36 people or whatever it was, she said.
Yeah, and they lack the class to sit at the kiddies table.
Yeah. And then she said something about a chicken dance.
Not sure.
No
what that
idea
is.
what that is.
I mean,
sure.
if you know what a chicken dance is, please tell us.
Yeah,
because we're kind of lost.
Because we have no idea. And then she says she wouldn't tap out under pressure. I was like, do you remember your entire feud with Becky Lynch? Because I'm pretty sure you tapped out a lot.
I feel like
during
did
that.
she tap to Natalya? Ever?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
she would have
did.
done. She would have done.
I mean, Natalya only makes people tap.
Yes,
and she did win.
True. Yeah,
some of them.
So you'd think.
Yeah. You'd imagine.
She then hits a women's right onto Sasha Banks, who kind of steps in between her and Bayley. So it looks like we're getting Lacey Evans versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yeah.
Which is nice because it's different.
Yeah, it's a bit fresher. You know, much as I love Nikki Cross, we've seen that quite a lot now. It overstepped into the whole Survivor Series thing, where that became a bit of too much of a focus.
Yeah.
Obviously negatively impacting the team. So throwing Lacey in there into the mix is quite nice. And I'm sure we're going to be talking a little bit more about how things might be changing on the face of the women's roster coming up in a bit.
Yeah, so straight after that, we got another BRYAN backstage. That's when the second Firefly Funhouse came in, and we had the whole remix of the Muscle Man dance. Then we got Sonya Deville versus Nikki Cross. And before this match started, Mandy Rose got on the microphone to say, I'm not one to run down how people look, but she looks like a cold plate of Thanksgiving leftovers. It's just them just being like, guys, it's on Thanksgiving. We need to make all these references because it's Thanksgiving.
I mean,
come on, guys.
They had their whole thing going on Twitter, these guys.
God,
where, you know, Mandy was talking about how it was just embarrassing about the loss to NXT, and also that Nikki was in the match instead of Sonya, and Sonya replying saying, don't even get me started, it's embarrassing. I'd beat that twerp, hands tied behind my back. And then Nikki I think she just slammed her face into the keyboard because it's just letters.
Running straight over it. It was good response.
This whole thing with Mandy, it was just the way she said, you know, looks like a cold plate of Thanksgiving leftovers. She ended it with an inflection going up at the end as if she was going to go on. She's like,
exactly.
Leftovers? Oh, I'll leave the ring. Okay.
And then I'll leave the ring now. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, it was very strange.
It was strange. It was a bit weak.
Speaking of weak, the match was weak too. It lasted about a minute, maybe less, and Nikki Cross got a roll-up victory.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yay!
It wasn't wonderful.
Yeah, it's the most devastating move in the women's division, the roll-up.
The roll-up.
Totally.
It's the equivalent of playing Tekken and getting a win with the shin kick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But then Fire and Desire beat down Nikki after the bell, and Alexa Bliss makes her return to save Nikki Cross.
Yes.
And they hug afterwards.
Yeah, they're still friends.
Cool.
Corey saying, "Oh my goddess," because
it's a bad line.
The goddess.
It's a bad line. But that's another nice addition to the SmackDown Women's division.
Yeah.
So now we've got Lacey Evans challenging for the belt. We've got, you know, Alexa Bliss has made a return, kind of bolstering that division a little bit, which is nice. Yeah. So we've got a few new fresh faces going about their business in there, which is pretty good.
That's going to be really nice. I'm sure we're going to get some. I mean, the thing is, are we? Obviously, if with Lacey in the picture, it seems like we're not going to get. Well, we might Bayley and Sasha versus Nikki and Alexa. Are Nikki and Alexa going to come back to tag together?
Maybe they can take on the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team titles again.
That would be interesting.
Maybe.
I mean, then you've got Alexa and Lacey coming in to freshen off both sides of things, singles and tag team, which would be a nice addition.
Totally. We then get the Daniel Bryan backstage segment, as mentioned before, with Miz.
Yep.
And then we have Dana Brooke's backstage, probably sending a
Yeah.
tweet to Batista. And then Drake Maverick comes in and he says, oh, you know, it's Christmas season now that Thanksgiving's over. And he says, you know, got a favorite tradition of mine. Grabs out some mistletoe. And he goes, well, here we go then. And just holds it up. And then she was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
And
Aren't
then,
you married? It's complicated.
Aren't you married? It's complicated. And then she just goes, not in any season ever.
Yep.
And then you just hear a guitar strum.
Elias
is back, everybody. He just walks out and just sings a song against Drake Maverick. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the whole Drake Maverick meme because only Ollie can do that. But yeah, and he sings a song and Dana got really, really into it.
She was well into it. It was weird how they sort of interacted, because when he first appeared, she's like, "Oh my god, where have you been?"
Where have you been? And he was like, I've been on a journey.
A journey outwards
Outwards.
and inwards.
Inwards. It was great. I love Elias.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought it was cool to see him again.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just
Interested to see what he does
bringing together the trio of returns that we saw, and all very exciting returns.
Yeah, I'll say this now then. I would say I'm very excited to see these three people. I like Sheamus, like Elias, I like Alexa Bliss. I thought these returns were a little bit underwhelming. I would have preferred if, like, Sheamus had come out and beaten someone up, or it was a fully edited video package rather than a backstage promo in a hallway. I would have preferred Elias to interrupt like a heel's promo. If like Corbin was cutting a promo and Elias interrupted him, that would have been a massive like face pop for Elias because he's a face now. And I think like Alexa Bliss coming out was fine. There wasn't anything inherently wrong with it. It was quite easily telegraphed though, and it was against Fire and Desire, which didn't really have any, you know, stakes to it. Like if she'd have saved Nikki Cross from Bayley and Sasha Banks, that would have been a little bit better, I think, than Fire and Desire. So it's like there's nothing wrong with these returns. They're good. I just feel like they could have been better.
I don't know. There are aspects of that which I agree with. Certainly, Alexa Bliss's comeback, because we've spoken about Nikki Cross's ring gear. We spoke, I think it might even been as recently as last week, about how it's gone back to blue. And it's great. It's gone back to her roots. And she came out this week and she had the pink mixed in. You're like, okay, I can kind of see where this is going. You know, the rumors flying around about Alexa coming back have been going around for some time. And with the pink in her gear back again, it was kind of telegraphed. I like Sheamus's one.
Yeah.
And there's an aspect that we're going to talk about later with which I agree with. Maybe he should have just come out. But I thought this was actually done really well for a backstage promo.
Totally, yeah. There's nothing wrong. It was a very good promo. I'm not taking that away from it at all. I just would have preferred, as this is a big return, this felt like this was like week 2, week 3 stuff, not the return, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. Elias's one, I actually think works better with him being backstage.
You reckon?
I think so, because that was kind of how he was introduced. You know, I guess his first one, I think he may have just walked across the stage and not paid any attention to anyone, just with the strumming the guitar. But then a lot of it was him backstage and various people going, who's that? I quite like Elias's backstage segments. I think this worked really well with his.
I think the way he got over and what people love him for was his in-ring singing promos.
That's true.
So I think bringing him back to do one of those would have been like, I'm a face now, you should all love me again. And people are like, this is why we love you, Elias, you're great. And like, the song backstage was fine, but I don't think it had the same impact as if he was in front of a live crowd.
I guess so. I quite liked him being backstage. I think we're going to see, obviously, his interruptions coming. The weirdest thing about that was just the trio involved. Elias, Dana, and Drake Maverick.
Dana Brooke and Drake Maverick.
Weird.
Sure. But then after that, the New Day come out. Big E does a Big E promo. And they issue an open challenge for their tag team championships.
Really enjoyed that. Did you just say hog? Yep. And did you say dog? No, I was playing. They issue an open challenge for their tag team championships, which was answered by Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro with Sami Zayn. Yes.
Great. Love it. Sami Zayn cuts a great promo, as usual. He was running down Thanksgiving and Black Friday, being like, you know, it's everything that's wrong with capitalism and all that stuff. Class promo. Love it.
Sorry. Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying I really love this segment. It's great.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of things that he said. As always, I like to write down what Sami Zayn says.
He's great.
Because he's fantastic.
We love Sami Zayn.
Thanksgiving is a holiday for the gluttonous masses celebrating imperialistic evil.
Like, he's a gift.
Oh, yeah.
He's incredible.
And Black Friday is the most fraudulent corporate scam of a holiday promoting rabid consumerism.
Keep going.
It epitomizes all the evils of capitalism.
Is he wrong, though? That's all I'm going to say. Is he wrong? Anyway, he cuts a fantastic promo, says that Shinsuke and Cesaro are going to win the tag team titles, and then we have the match, New Day versus Nakamura and Cesaro, which was, again, fun match. I feel like if they were given 1, more time, 2, a clean finish, or 3, a bigger stage like a pay-per-view, this would have been a lot better, but for what it was fun. There was going into an ad break. Cesaro did a massive uppercut going into the ad break. Just uppercut him over the commentary table, which was so fun. Loved it. There was a big Uranagi from Big E. There was a big kick and a headbutt from Cesaro. There was a nice bit towards the end where Kofi went for a dive to the outside and got caught on the outside with an uppercut from Cesaro, which was just... Bloody love Cesaro. He's so good.
I was worried about Kofi at one point, actually, because earlier on we had this moment where he was up on the second rope, I believe it was. Cesaro distracts him. Nakamura pulls his leg, and just the whiplash he got as his head just impacted.
Yeah, totally.
With the top turnbuckle. That looked nasty.
Yep. It's a great spot from Kofi. And then Cesaro dumps Kofi onto the ropes, and Sami Zayn tries to get involved. He brings the tray of pancakes in, and he's going to go and try and hit Kofi with the tray. But before he can do so, the ref sees him. Oh my God, distraction that the ref actually sees. Crazy.
How long has it been since that's actually happened?
Insane. So before Zayn can actually hit Kofi with the tray, the ref stops him, takes the tray off, and ejects Zayn from the match. Cesaro's there like, oh no! And then when he turns around, he gets hit with the Trouble in Paradise, and Kofi picks up the win. Again, fun match. I think if it went another 2 or 3 minutes and had a clean finish, it would have been a great match. It was just kind of picking up into that high gear when the match ended, but is what it is.
Yep, and Kofi's 996 career days of being a tag team champion continue.
So he's going to be over 1,000 days by the time we get to next week's SmackDown.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's
actually insane.
Massive achievement.
Yeah, that's actually ridiculous.
I was hoping it wouldn't kind of telegraph the way the match was going too much. It's like they've got to let him get to 1,000, surely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I never really believed that Nakamura and Cesaro were going to win, but I just expected a really good match, which it was, in fairness. Yeah. It was a good match. But then we just get a replay of Reigns beating up Roode from earlier, and then it leads into the main event angle, which we've already spoke about. So, overall, I thought this was a fine show. I'd say there were some exciting moments with the returns. Feel like they could have been done better, but that's just me. I said that the Wyatt stuff that permeated the entire show was really interesting. I thought the matches were fine to good, but I don't feel like much progressed. Much feels the same. Is it still Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend, granted with a new slant? Reigns versus Corbin is just whatever. We're still Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They're still together. And even though we've got something new, I will say that Bayley versus Lacey Evans is new and fresh and at least different. I'll give it that. I rated this a smack bang in the middle.
I gave this probably a low, but still nonetheless in that bracket. I gave this a low smacktastic.
Smacktastic, yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the returns. I thought for the most part they were well done. And they add that sort of new dimension. It got me more excited for how the women's division is going to go. Obviously, you've got Lacey and Alexa coming back.
Totally.
What Alexa's going to do, I'm not sure. There are injury concerns there. She's taken quite a few blows to the head. As it would happen.
Yeah.
So, what she's going to do is going to be interesting. It depends how much wrestling she's going to do. Throw her into a kind of managerial role. I mean, I have no doubt she will absolutely kill that.
Totally.
Sammy, you have Sammy and Alexa in managerial roles. I'm down for that. Excited for the comebacks. Love seeing, as you say, the whole Wyatt thing permeating the entire show. Was lovely. And there are some things that are getting a little bit stale. And I'm putting that mildly in some cases. Yep. No names mentioned. Reigns, Corbin, no names mentioned. But yeah, I think also just in terms of watching the show, I think in many cases the editing's getting a little bit better.
Okay, fair enough.
There wasn't quite so much. It's very noticeable how we haven't been going on so much about the damn ad breaks every time coming in at crucial moments.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was nice. There's been some really good character work. I cannot overstate enough how good The Miz is not only with Bray, but also with... how good Daniel Bryan is not only with Bray, but with Miz.
Yep.
I think that really adds a lot to it. The matches, again, much like you, fine to good.
Yep.
I'm putting this in a low smacktastic for me.
Cool. Let's see what you guys thought. We did a
Yes.
community post earlier on WrestleTalk's YouTube community tab, asking what you guys thought of SmackDown, and 56% of people also rated it a smack bang in the middle, with 22% rating it a smacktastic. So it's very much in that kind of high smack bang in the middle, low smacktastic range for the show. 6% said smacknificent, 10% said smackdowner, and 7% said a smack in the face. But now, before we get into the very last thing on this stream, we've just got to say thank you again to Beer52, with this lovely market port. I forgot the name of it there. But if you follow the link in the description below, you will be able to get your own case of 10 free craft beers. All you have to do is pay for postage, which for UK viewers is £4.95, which is an absolute steal considering it's 10 beers, which is 9 more than one. Let's get that trending.
Still got the mask going really nicely.
Hashtag 9 more than one.
Hashtag 9 more than one.
That's a thing
Love it.
now.
But yeah, absolutely get on that. It's a fantastic deal. You will not regret it. That is lovely.
Thank you very much to Beer52. And we've got to say thank you to our $25 and above pledge hammers on Patreon.
Absolutely.
If you're not a patron yet for WrestleTalk, why the hell not? You get loads of extra bonus content, and depending what tier you're at, you get shout-outs and videos, you get your name and credits, you get bonus podcasts, you get all sorts of stuff. But if you pledge at the $25 and above tier, you get your own wrestling nickname, and you get them read out on a show just like this one. So thank you to Badasaurus Rex Joseph Calmarian. Woo!
Lovely.
Yes, thank you very much.
The Perfect Storm, Noah Trombley.
Woo! Yes, the perfect storm. New Japan commentator Bryan Kelly.
Oh,
like
wonderful.
the actual
Fantastic.
one. Thank you.
In my veins, Viper Alistair.
I love that you get to say that one.
Me too.
Don't call me Junior. Kev Foster Junior. Am I not supposed to say the
He
Junior
just
bit?
said not to.
Woo!
Lovely,
Thank you.
beautiful.
All right.
And finally, All-Star Chuck Turner.
Woo! Yes, thank you very much. And thank you for watching this live stream. If you're watching this on Catch Up, please click the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk things, and press this button right here that'll make it become a pledge hammer on Patreon. Forgot what I was doing there for a second. I've been Chopper Pequenel. This has been Dave Just Dave, and that was SmackDown.